Hi everyone, this is Ross Barefoot with Horizon Web Marketing and the Search Engine Academy, and I'm here to tell you just a little bit more about browser extensions today. Now, a browser, if you're basically at a kind of an introductory level, let me define my terminology. A browser is what you use to be able to go to websites. So for example, Google Chrome is a browser, Firefox is a browser, Internet Explorer, Microsoft's Edge. All of those things are basically a tool that you use to go to a website and be able to look at a web page. Of course, everybody has to use a browser, whether they realize that they're using one by that name or not. What a lot of people don't realize, however, is that something like Google Chrome, that is a browser, can be a much more powerful tool than what it is when it comes out of the box. And that's the case for all sorts of functionality. But right now I'm really specifically talking about digital marketing and search engine optimization. This is not a video designed to go into all the various browser extensions that are available to give you more SEO power when you're browsing the internet. But it does just try to give you a basic idea of how you get to browser extensions, how do you install them, and use them in order to be able to do some of the other things that I teach you to do in my SEO training videos. So let's take a look at the browser that I've got in the window here. I'm only going to be looking at Google Chrome, and one of the reasons is some of the browser extensions that I use are only available for Chrome. The same basic principles I'm about to demonstrate can be used, however, with Firefox or Safari or Internet Explorer. As of this recording date, which is in the early part of 2017, Microsoft's new Edge browser does not have the capability to run extensions, which makes it far less useful to me, no matter how fast and secure it is. So if I go to a particular website in this browser, it's easy. I can just go at the top of the page. So if I go to horizonwebmarketing.com, okay, pretty plain vanilla. All right, and I'm going to have the website here on the page. But now, usually when I'm doing SEO, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the site, particularly if it's either the site that I'm working on or the competitor of a site that I'm working on. And to do that, I use browser extensions. So I'm going to show you just two browser extensions today that I use all the time. First of all, what is a browser extension? A browser extension is basically something that extends or adds to the functionality of the browser. In Chrome, the easiest way to be able to get to a browser extension in Chrome is to go up to the little three dots, exposing the additional menu here. And then if you scan down, you'll go down to where it says More Tools. And then notice there's a choice here that says Extensions. And you go ahead and click and open that up. It'll show you the extensions that you've already installed. Now, if you've never installed any extensions, this is likely to be empty. On the other hand, some applications, and one of them is Google's Drive and Google Docs, will install applications without you or extensions without you realizing what's going on. So if you open it up and you see something like Application Launcher for Drive by Google or Google Docs, well, that's merely because it was installed without your knowledge. Now, to get a new extension, you have to go to the bottom of the page and notice where we've got a link, and this is in Chrome again, and it's a little different in Firefox and Safari. You click on Get More Extensions, and it opens up the Chrome Web Store. The first extension I'm going to recommend that you run is something called Open Seo Stats, and you can search for it just like that. And go ahead and hit enter, and then it'll show you a couple of choices here, and the first choice is the one that's most relevant to what we want, which is Open SEO Stats. Once you see it, you have a button to the right that says Add to Chrome, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. It'll ask, Chrome will basically want to confirm that you're really giving permission and what permissions you're granting to this extension. And then you can click on Add Extension. Then if you wait just a second, look up here at the top right, and notice how this just changed and gave me a message to tell me it's been added. Now to use an extension, typically you're going to go up to the right. And this is again typical behavior. There are exceptions to the rule, but this is usually what you do. So now that I have that extension installed, I'm going to go back to Horizon Web Marketing, and I'm going to show you what I use this particular extension for. If I'm on a particular page like this, I can go up and find the little tiny, almost invisible icon for Open SEO Stats, and I just click on it, and after it tells me what's new, it will give me information on the page that I'm on. And so this information typically is going to be divided into two basic groups. One is information on the page I'm looking at, and the other is information on the entire domain. And you can see that it's split up this way. Information on the domain is found under Site Info. Information on the page is found under Page Info. So if I click on Page Info, usually what I'm using this as a shortcut to is to be able to see what the title of the page is. I'm not going to explain how these things are important to SEO because I've done that in other videos, and if you're wondering about them, please go check out my other videos. Also, the meta description tag. I'm also looking at this typically to see what the H1 tag is. That's the primary headline on the page. And if I scroll down, I can see other things as well. And so usually, this is just a quick way for me to go and see the title, the meta description, and the H1, and I can do it really easily. Now, I'm not going to go into all the various uses that Open SEO Stats offers. At some point in the future, I'll do a tool review on this particular tool. I'm going to show you one other extension in order to illustrate a point that extensions usually are free, but not always. If I go back to my extensions page here and I scroll down, you'll see that I've added this extension called Serp Works. I highly recommend this extension, but it does require a payment. So if I go up to Serp Works, and it's this little green circle with the almost invisible black S, and I open it up, once you install it, it'll ask you to either activate a free trial, which is fairly brief, I think it's 14 days, or purchase a license to use it. And once you've done that, then you will typically have login information. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in because I do have an account with Serp Works. And once I do that, it'll give me a number of settings here. It gives me SERP metrics and page metrics, and then again AdWords metrics. Now these are all metrics that we can toggle on or off, and I'll show you why we would want to toggle them off here by going back to this page. Once I've enabled Serp Works, I can refresh the page. Give it a second here to refresh. And then notice how I'll have an overlay bar over to the right. This overlay bar is extremely useful as well to me because it will pull data from a number of different services. It'll pull data from Majestic, one of my go-to services, from Moz, one of the authorities in the industry and the producer of a very popular tool set, and from SEMrush. And SEMrush is another one of the, I rate it as one of the most valuable tools that I use in the business of SEO. So all of those things then are pulled into one location via Serp Works, which I find to be very useful. But the usefulness of it doesn't stop there. If I conduct a search on Google, like for example, let's say I'm going to do just digital marketing in New York. Just coming up with this as off the top of my head. Now, notice that over here it has the little S showing that Serp Works is running. And when I scroll down, there's another, this is called a Serp Overlay, and Serp stands for Search Engine Results Page. There's a Serp Overlay here that basically gives me a brief look at all the various competitive metrics that I am interested in when I'm trying to see how competitive it would be to rank on a search page. Now, so it'll show me, for example, for this particular result, what the Majestic metrics are, the Moz metrics, the SEMrush metrics, and then a number of other different just basic page metrics. And again, I'm not going to go into all of these because the point of this video is just to show you how to get extensions up and running. So basically, that's your quick overview on extensions. The one thing I will mention is a lot of people do refer to extensions as add-ons or plugins, and usually they're referring to the same thing. Now, technically a plugin is not the same thing as an extension, so if we want to be real technical about it. But if you hear someone talking about particular extensions or plugins, they're usually referring to the same thing. So you might want to keep that in mind. So that's the end of our quick walkthrough, and subscribe to our channel for more videos that give you tips as to how to do SEO and digital marketing. And again, I'm Ross Barefoot with Search Engine Academy and Horizon Web Marketing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.